This is the raceway doing the same thing, but their ABT works. Now, I'm just trying to see if I just take a regular picture to show that that's actually happening only on camera, not to the naked eye. But you can't. How do you prove that? You can't take a picture. See, now this is a digital sign at the Sam's Club, right down the street from the raceway. The sun's at a different angle. You can see the 9 and the 10 are doing a little something there. But even with the sun at a different angle from the raceway and the Parkers, it's still not happening to the. If the sun were doing it, it would be to the naked eye. Some kind of interference between that electrical system and this electrical system. Most likely in the Wi-Fi field, because you can see how far I am away from this gas station here. I'm not in its Wi-Fi field. I'm actually right here on the interstate. This is Route 25. And so here, if we look at the sonnet networking of the International Code of the IUPAC table in relation to the euphemism, like euphemism, you see that objects shown here could be like objects shown. Objects shown like in a court. So in order to do that, of course, you would have to add in these apposition gates here. We can decollate that statement here by adding an apposition gate to find what would be considered a itinerant collapse grid. You can't deny that the grid exists. Whether it really applies is, well, whatever, has to be seen. So here, you can see this Russian symbol here. It converts the English I and creates the corporate name Hino, which is in relation to the auto industry. And of course the gas price signs were in relation to the auto industry. And here, you would put the ST together here, and you get because here if you get TSA plus AT&T and you line them up and use the apposition gate function on E1, then you could get test at A1A, which is the highway that runs all along Florida, even through Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach in Florida, which is Kennedy Space Center, of course. If you added, this would be then Stand United High Notes. So you could decorate to Can't Stand High Notes United, which is you see all these people in the automotive empowered by the automotive industry to apply low frequency bass sounds that shake all house. That's electronic munition. It's not just an entertainment medium. These are electronic munitions. So the TS here, this symbol in Russian converts to TS. You can see the conversions all over. This 52 tellurium through the IUPAC theory table, TE. If you use here the sigma, Greek sigma, that converts to TS and like TSA. So this, over here, if you use the Arabic symbol Te in the sigma, that would convert to TS as in TSA, and that would be then OCT like October. And if you would say the object shown is ionic, because we can see by these signs here that it appears to happen. It's not happening to the naked eye. It's not some aberration from solar flare. It has to do quite obviously with the speed of the digital sign that it's emanating. It's a sign, and something to do with the internal device. You just can't see with the naked eye, and it doesn't seem to happen outside of the Wi-Fi arena. So we take this 53 and 6, which some people could say it's almost like CIA backwards. 53 plus 6 is 59. And then 53 minus 6 is 47. So D would equal to 47 if you consider D for its origin, which is hieroglyphs. Fourth dynasty, Menkaure in Greek, Fibrin, king of Upper Lower Egypt. These two symbols are D's on the horizontal plane with their elongated serif, vertical serif on a horizontal plane. Plum plus 1 equals 2, the egg that goes into the bird's claw. pretty interesting. That's a. But again, you could say then that this here could decolate to the United Auto Workers, but I can't. You can't confirm that decolation beyond what it shows here, beyond just the decolation of this item sonus. Object shown and object shown ionic. Object shown ec. You can only decolate this bar. We could suppose the decolations, like this is not only, you can't really say that this is, it's a decolation to guess. It works, tested A1A, that could be relation to anything, space, Dragonport, X, or any of them things, math or whatever. So I know, gee, that definitely fits. You can't really deny that. It is corporate title. Does it decolate to high note? We could suppose that. This seems to all work here, but you can't really confirm it. But it's supportive evidence, accumulative supportive evidence. Alright, so here now, I guess you would call them then unseen flashing objects. UFO. So if we ran this mnemonic here, which basically in a Euclidean coordination graph, and we added in, of course, into the statement you forgot. Here, you could decolate this to find this itinerant graph of sonnet networking algebraic vectors. These could be considered algebraic vectors. Running in a sentential network to sonnet networking would be about NSA slashing jet budget cuts with the AU to apposition gate in there. In order to that, you would have to throw this apposition gate in there too, the A and the out for the AB out, which are in 2, 4, and 5, 6 ordinals on the y-axis of the Euclidean coordination of the mnemonic. So if you brought that over here and then translated that to the IUPAC periodic table of element international code cipher, you could then see 2, 4, 5, and 6 would be E, helium, B, beryllium, B, boron, C, 6. And that could be decorated with application gates to say here becomes about, I don't know, C could be anything, Christ, cash, whatever. So I'll stop there. But the decolation, the sentential network certainly exists. This is for showable. And if you brought over here to 3, 4, and 5 on the x-axis, and you forgot where the UFO goes, then that would be through IUPAC table cipher Li for lithium, B, beryllium, B5, and boron. And that would be with another apposition gate. A would say liberate bar, and you notice, or the BAR at E. So if you use this R here in Greek, that translates into English G, and this the sigma in Greek, E turns into S. That would then be GAS, as in gas, which is where the sign was unseen flashing. Then you see here the simple things here. O and T transferred into Greek, Phi, and the T here is Sanskrit. It turns into S, translates into English S. That would then be PHOT on S. That's photons. And about slashing jets would be cells as well, tactical high energy lasers. But how would you actually want a tactical high-energy laser or jet? Well, what would be the best way to advance to make it believe it was following a UFO, to breed it into its path? Because if here one could say, well, maybe the flashing is about with the speed of the camera speed, it's picking up. Well, if the camera speed is so many frames per second and it's only picking it up in flight, and the sign is flashing much faster than the speed per second the camera can record, then it should be happening. That would only be owed to the sun reflection, and that should happen on just about any other thing recorded. So it can't be really camera speed, but it could be about a space in the signal of the light on the sign. In other words, there's code in there. There's another signal in that signal that's only recepted by the device. In the jet fighters and the UFO videos that are supposedly being released now, or I've heard about on the news, they had devices, receptor devices, same thing. All of them are devices. Everything was a device. So it's even the pilot's visor is a device through which he sees it. None of it's naked eye. So what if what he sees, we would see to the naked eye, is the sky? But without seeing the sky to the naked eye, you see the object on all the recording devices, including the visor. So on June 16th, 2021, at the Parkers, just down the street from FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center on Altima in Brunswick, Georgia, the sign on the door, well, the sign on the gas station sign, the price sign was flashing, was sorry, no EBT, be tiny downs on the microwave machine too. So as shown in my previous videos, EBT, there has to be a specific reason why it's EBT, and that's, for one, well, it's quite obviously, you know, like beast, B as G, and then following Aaron sun sequence, T is the first, fourth, 11th, well, T3 here is the 11th T, and of my prior videos show why that, so of course they just moved the T over here into 3, and it really could stand for, if not does, because here we can show the declaration, the mnemonic, that and the cipher. Camouflage is the very first thing you get when you go into militaries, for one. Camouflage acronyms, those are camouflage fatigues, but fatigues are supposed to camouflage the biotic which has mens rea and therefore seeks camouflage. So here, the declaration, electronic ballistic targets. Then it runs this mnemonic, the real alerts, chin glitters, ionic, act. It should be act. And I would think that's like they're saying act 2, act 3, act 4. So in order to get that, you would have to add the 2 and the 3 here. The DAP is gate re, which is like 2 and 3, which is heli as in helicopters. And then here you would have to switch in 14 and 18, the S and the T, like TS and the whole TS diachronic, or the TS diphthong. It's fricative, the fricative set TS prefiguration that's come into the New World since about the late 90s, if not the 2000s. And that would be S or T. Then this could be as a tens, as Satans, because you'll see here, this is SAT, this is Greek. Well, you know, S-A-N is A, the N-S. That's Athens, like Athens Greek fraternity. We've already been over that. This would be the Sigma. This here would be the noun, I believe it is. Yeah, noun. In Hebrew, they convert to English S-N. S-A-N, there it is again, S-A-T-A-N, there's the S, there's the T, there's the N. That's L-E-T is an acronym for linear energy transfer. And so here, this would then crypt here as stand. We've shown that in the prior video. That would be the T, this would be the A, and the D together, that would be the N, and the L, So, you know, so here, if we took this 14th and this 18th ordinal in Euclidean coordination and put that through IUPAC table, then you would get SIAR, which is silicon and argon. You could drop the A as the apposition gate, and you would get like SIR, as in like sirens, like cops, sirens, helicopters. And it's interesting because EBT is never, there's never any concern about EBT being hacked. You're not going to get anything on the news today or yesterday or that day that on June 16th, 2021, there was a hack of the EBT systems on the Parkers on Altima Avenue just down the street from Fletcher because it's EBT. If it's Visa or MasterCard or anything like that, then it is, because you're supposed to now say, yeah, so what? You don't. No, I actually own everything I paid for. So at the Raceway gas station, let me digress a minute in the line. At the Raceway gas station, there was, the EBT was working, but several days beforehand, there was a sign on the door and the inside was locked. So what do you assume? Maybe they're low on employees and these people are trying to blame us for that. Well, they're the ones that seem to know that, and they're the ones that don't seem to go do it themselves. If they're watching and they're just sitting there watching and they're creating all this stuff, then they're not doing it themselves. They're the ones that start to see that there's some kind of a need. Why don't you go do it yourself? They're the ones who owe $14,000, $20,000, $40,000 in debt. They're $40,000 in debt in their car. They don't own their car. They don't own their house. They don't own any of it. They expect me to go do it. Well, I don't have a thing, but everything I have for is paid for, and they're going to try and say that I don't work. But if they created this, then I'm working right now deciphering this. I'm the one who's not being paid while they're the ones just paying themselves. And they'll try and say that they aren't, to get you to arouse on their side that they don't agree with it. But let's take a look at some of the titles that are involved in the whole EBT thing. One is Genie. We all know Genie is, well, Genie's bottle is supposed to be magical. It's supposed to show their assumption is magic, but they all made the tech. And I didn't ask to be on it. They tried to keep me from working and have to keep me on it so they could Pavlovian stimulate these kind of things here. Like, now, I don't want to be sitting here. One person could say this is prejudice of the author. To some degree it is, but it's not really. If it were my choice, I'd probably smoke a pot and play the drums. But I'm not getting paid for this, even though this is me working. I'm working right now. Just as much as if they made the code, I decipher the code, then I'm working. I'm not going to pay for it. Not only that, I do all sorts of things, picking up garbage, picking up cigarettes. I only get $3 a day on average. $3 now, I think it's $4 a day or $5 because there's been I guess they lost some budget and went to that. So $4 or $5 a day. How long did I work? For over an hour picking up garbage around up cigarettes when I'm looking for my resources to make my thing. This took me a good hour to put this video, all this thing. I'm working right now. It's just I don't get paid for it, but that's the whole thing. They want not to have to do it themselves, to think that you're all supposed to be spired against me when they're the ones that recognize the need. It's their company. They're the ones that have all this debt. $40,000 they still owe on their car. They still owe $100,000 to $300,000 on their house. They still owe on their air conditioning. They're still on credit on that. Everything I have, I own. I'm not the one who owes any money. So all these things are cumulative. It's this is all a cumulative fact that show it's just outright maliciousness. They just expect me to completely accept their maliciousness, completely lose to them, and let be their effigy and all this stuff, and I'm just supposed to put up with it. So the major point is that they assume that they should be able to have all these things without ever having paid for them. Air conditioning, pools, houses, cars, multiple cars, all sorts of things in the attic, all sorts of things in the garage, tools, welders, all this stuff, without ever having paid for all of it. To hide all this, and I'm not supposed to have it all for unhiding it. That's the adjudicated fact. Prima facie evidence. It's on mens rea. You expect to hide all this stuff, all deceit and all so forth, to have all these things that you never have fully paid for. Sit there and tell people that I don't work for my food, my $3 a day in EBT, when I'm deciphering all the stuff you hide and cipher. I walk around and pick up cigarettes at stores for my nicotine habit. I walk around and pick up garbage and do all sorts of things for my $3 a day in EBT.
It's them who never did anything for, don't do anything but try to hide all this deception for, to have all these things they never ever paid for. That's, you take it. That's the, if you side with them as a jury, then realistically, that's what you expect them to do unto you.
And so the itinerant grid sentential logic continues. 14 plus 18 is 32, which is germanium, Ge. So we can recognize here 32 is like 23, so we could actually gate these channels here to two different channels and alternate that current. So 2, 3 orders this to switch around, which then makes it raise with the apposition gate on E. But if you raise 32 on E, then you get 33, which is T7 in Aaron sun sequence. That's a metric order. 7 and 33 is the ordinal order. That one is like tone here. So then to raise 1 power to the 10th is 10. That is 1 right there with a 0 added to it. So raising power to the 10th, well 11 actually. 11 is raising 1, excuse me. And that is T3 is in the 11th ordinal. That's T3 right here. 3T in Aaron sun sequence. The metric order is 3. In ordinal ordering, it's in the 3rd ordinal order spot. So raise a 1, you get 11, and that's T3. So here, you raise 10, 1 to get T3, 11. So you would say here, you would have to also add in this T here in order to sanctify this real alert and glitters ionic act from electronic ballistic targets, the mnemonic of it, by exponential of the enigmatic. So here, T 10, or Euclidean coordinate order, here takes the IUPAC periodic table NE 10 for neon, and so T in, you would then take this over here. Well, there's the T out of COPS there. That then takes, there's as a TAN. That would be the T and NE, makes that turns the terrorists to nerds if you add this SAD here. So what would SAD nerds do? From the Milgram shockbox evolution. Which is what this country has not come out of. It's identified as allegedly an experiment, but the experiment is known. War, it happened many times. People had heart attacks in war since the medieval times. People had all kinds of wounds in war, yet you still went and killed them. Quite obviously that act stopped happening and somebody wanted to retrain it again with the Milgram shockbox money. First having made the Depression to get people that desperate for money, then offer them money to condition them. And since they had the money after the Depression, they quite obviously weren't affected by the Depression. They were the winners of the Great Depression, and those who they paid became their subordinate winners. The person being shot must have been the loser. And now you can see here further declaration with the apposition gate now W, and then on 1S, of course, there's 2S as an SS, Secret Service, that would be other S, because that's the Hebrew shin or sin that turns into the S. Would then be what? Now web tone. So if that's what happens with light on a sign, what about all these sounds of all these boom, boom, booms from all these cars? Because that's what they do all day long. They sit there and sabotage my creation when I'm trying to create something. I didn't ask you to put all these antennas in my system. I work with ADAS, all that stuff when before you ever made these monopolies. Now then they drive by, boom, boom, boom with their cars. So you think that I'm supposed to sit here and let them shoot me all day long with electronic munitions and try and sabotage my products, claim they're all good people, I'm not supposed to shoot them back, try and sabotage my motor neuron gradients, shoot my smooth motor neuron gradients, try and extort
smooth neuron gradient anesthesias that the creator put you to be free and for me to grow myself, you got another thing coming. Then I'm going to shoot you all, society. I'm going to shoot you with 112 degree temperatures, 18 degree temperatures with my feral governance, my symbiosis with the feralness more than any of you. I'm so grateful. I hope you're burning in them firefighter, your antenna system. And there, then backdoor antenna relay, you are the ones who sat there and knew all the information, you quote information and all your storage on information on people. You knew the character, their archetype, and no good scumbag espionage rapist. I hope you're burning in them 112 degree temperatures all the way over there to California in them firefighter suits too, with you people trying to, and your cannabis industry trying to extort me and claim you have the right to grow it and I don't. I hope you're going. You just wait to the future. Wait till you see how many I'm going to shoot, you little recruits. I'm going to shoot with my ecto brides and echo brides of the future, too. Yeah, they're sitting there shooting me with electronic munitions, trying to cause apoptosis to my neural processes, trying to kill it neural cell by neural cell. You tell me I don't have a right to shoot them back? Burn in them 112 degree temperatures over there, Special Operations Command, in your firefighter suits, too. Just like all the vengeance that Dunn has gotten on them fucking scumbag triangulations of Florida and them fucking scumbag little rapists of them. That did actually point something and ran away and got rid of what they pointed at him. You think he didn't have a right to shoot them back when that's what you do? Look at how much vengeance he's gotten on your society already. From Hades and Matthew completely destroyed. Another earthquake of Haiti before you destroyed it, Matthew. Another Florida triangulation with Puerto Rico destroyed. Then earthquaked. Your freaking scumbag Bahamas and your worthless scumbag fucking cruise ship industry. Yeah, so much more vengeance coming for him, too, on all of you.
And look at this cumulative evidence. It's prima facie evident here. It's on here, too, on these pumps. It says Electrify America. It's prima facie evident that any Marcos doctoring corporation could have chose any kind of term they wanted, like electrify your car, but they put Electrify America. And that's just the cumulative evidence of their character. It's what you call a Freudian slip of their intent, their character. After all, since all these devices are, quote, made in China and whatever other things, they put Electrify America as their intent. That means even the electricians and the electronic people here in this country that they support, that they hire, that they triangulate with to build their electricity power devices, are all intent to electrify America, not electrify a car. Milligram shock baths, that's all they are. Rapists trying to evolve their rape, abuse, do nothing but try and sedition the true creator's arrangement of elements to try and create their malicious and sedition for them to try and performance enhance themselves, because they can't face themselves unless they think they made themselves something more. And they'll try and say that electrify, that's right, that means to electrify America. America's already electrified. Here's a dealership right here. It's completely electric. It's got electric already. All of it is. Electricity. There's that little 8 sign right there. The hospital sign. Their little thermometer rape sign there with the Honda. Oh, that's what it is, not hospital. That's pretty interesting. It's all electric. So electrify is synonymous with electrocute. To electrify America, to electrocute, that's the only difference. They've been trying to put in their milligram shock box capabilities. But have you been convicted of a crime to be electrified? And the fact that they keep allowing it to be called a hack rather than breaking and entering has to say it's nobody but the law. The FBI, the cops. How are they negligent? The United States military? How else could they be negligent if they're allowing it to be called hacking rather than breaking and entering? It's breaking and entering. They just broke. I was working on my recordings, on my music. They just broke and entered into my device in order to try and sabotage, espionage. That's a violation of interstate commerce laws. All sorts of things to try and sabotage my music because they're afraid to challenge me straight up because I'm that much better than them. And I'm supposed to put up. They do that every single day.
every single day, every time I try and record, and I'm supposed to put up with that because I'm that much better with them? You telling me I'm not supposed to blow them up like Theodore Kaczynski? Well, I got some things coming for you then too, with all this success over at there that's not in sedition. This that arranged all that. They arranged all those elements. Then I got some magic for you too, because that's what they believe it is, their ability to magic. And I got magic for all of you to pay them with all of its success. All of its success over them, all of its arrangement to the elements, you're going to get what's coming to you. And I'm not going to have to do a damn thing, because it's going to do it all. You, all their families that allow them to call hacking rather than breaking and entering, would try and say that I'm shoplifting if I go into Walmart and take from them in order to performance enhance myself and sabotage them. You're going to get what's coming to you too.